Warning: the following story contains descriptions of graphic violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back to Sleeper Cell 41. In today's episode, we will confront one of the most unsettling cases in recent memory: the murder of Shad Thyrion. On February 21st, 2022, the life of this vibrant young man was tragically cut short in a shocking and gruesome manner. Shad was not just a victim. He was a cherished son, a loyal friend, and a person with hopes and dreams. As we piece together the harrowing details of that fateful night, we'll explore the complex relationship he had with his killer, Taylor Schabusiness, and the chilling events that unfolded in the basement of his mother's home. Join us as we seek to understand the implications of this crime and honor the memory of Shad Thyrion, a young man whose life was defined by so much more than his tragic end. Taylor Schabusiness was born in Chicago on November 23, 1997, and was raised by her parents until the family moved to Wisconsin when she was in the 4th grade. She attended public schools in Wisconsin until her senior year, at which point she was expelled for fighting with another student. She then moved to Texas, where she completed school while living with her paternal grandparents. Schabusiness's mother, Marla, died in 2019 from cirrhosis and alcoholism. Her father is currently still alive, and she has family in the Green Bay area. She first recalled receiving mental health treatment when she was in the 7th grade to address attention, concentration, and behavioral problems in school. At the time, she was medicated to address symptoms presumed to stem from ADHD and ADD. She was later prescribed a mood stabilizer, an antidepressant, and an antipsychotic until age 18, when she weaned herself off of her medications. She was hospitalized after a suicide attempt in April and May 2021, at which point she was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and bipolar disorder, adding to her past diagnosis of severe depression and ADD and ADHD. A criminal complaint filed in a 2020 case involving Schabusiness offers a glimpse of bizarre behavior and potential drug use. Schabusiness was charged with battery on a law enforcement officer and resisting arrest after allegedly behaving oddly after she was found walking in the middle of the street. Police had been called to the area for a woman seemingly under the influence of narcotics who was knocking on doors. When officers arrived and asked her what was going on, she stated she was not sure and was on a different planet right now, unquote. Schabusiness allegedly told officers she had just shot up and showed them track marks on her arms. During that incident, Schabusiness allegedly kicked at officers who tried to prevent her from walking on the oncoming traffic. On February 21st, 2022, at around 9:30 p.m., Thyrion was picked up from the home of his mother, Tara Packenick, by Taylor Schabusiness, with whom he had a sexual relationship. The couple, joined by a friend, went to an apartment on Eastman Avenue and smoked cannabis. Schabusiness stated in her interrogation that she and Thyrion also smoked methamphetamine and injected trazodone at the apartment after the friend left. The couple then returned to Thyrion's mother's house. Packenick and her boyfriend, Stephen Hendricks, were away at the time. They went down to the basement and began engaging in sexual intercourse. Schabusiness claimed that they had engaged in erotic asphyxiation in prior encounters, and on this occurrence, they had used metal chains. Schabusiness then proceeded to strangle Thyrion until he started to cough up blood. She continued until Thyrion was deceased, which took around 3 to 5 minutes. Schabusiness then proceeded to perform oral sex and use sex toys on the body for several hours afterwards. The following morning, she dismembered the body using knives she found at the house. Schabusiness positioned the body on the bed and beheaded it over a bucket in a storage tote to contain the blood. She then dumped the blood down the basement shower drain. She also removed the organs and placed them in plastic bags, the tote, cardboard boxes, and the bucket. 2 days later, on February 23, 2022, Thyrion's mother found her son's head in a bucket in her basement. It had been covered with a towel. Later, police would discover Thyrion's removed penis in the bucket as well. Hendricks then called the police, who did a search of the basement and found human organs stuffed into plastic bags and cardboard boxes. His torso was discovered in the tote with his severed foot placed inside it. Additional body parts, including the other foot, were also found later in a crock-pot box inside Schabusiness's minivan. Police found Schabusiness later that day at an apartment complex on Eastman Avenue, which is where a gold town and country minivan used to transport various body parts of Thyrion was found by police. Her clothes were covered in blood, and her left thumb had a cut. She also had scratches on her arms, which she claimed were self-inflicted. She was arrested and charged with murder, mutilation of a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault on March 1st. Schabusiness, earlier that year on January 3rd, was convicted and sentenced for 3 months for fleeing, eluding, and obstructing police. It is unclear if she was on work release at the time of the murder. She had removed the GPS tracker from her ankle. Schabusiness's attorney, Quinn Jolly, submitted a not guilty by reason of insanity plea on September 1st, 2022. On February 14th, 2023, Schabusiness attacked Jolly after he requested the trial be pushed back so experts could determine her competency to stand trial. Schabusiness was tackled by a Brown County Sheriff's officer. No one was seriously injured. Around 10 minutes after the attack,
Rachel, call.
Taylor, relax, Taylor.
Good, stop.
Jolly told Judge Walsh he planned to file a motion to be removed from the case. He was replaced by Christopher Froelich on March 3rd, who requested that Walsh recuse himself as his witnessing the attack could affect his ruling. Walsh declined. Forensic psychologist Diane Lighton testified that Schabusiness told her she had nothing to do. She had a thing with Jeffrey Dahmer a year ago, although Dahmer was murdered in prison by a fellow inmate in 1994. On July 26th, a jury convicted Schabusiness of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and third-degree sexual assault. On September 26th, Walsh sentenced Schabusiness to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Walsh said he had to protect the public from her. Quote, "This crime offends human decency. It offends human dignity. It offends the human community. It really does," he said. Unquote. Thyrion's father forgave Schabusiness, saying, "I believe everybody makes bad choices. Maybe not to this scale. It does no good to hate you. I know you've got a heart, got a mind." Unquote. Schabusiness is serving out her sentence at the Taycheedah Correctional Institution, a facility housing only female inmates that is located in the city of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
I went to buy a bag on the low, so I went to my ex who was a Satan disciple, and family, we all Latin kings, so we beeping, we don't with SDs. I gave him $100 for the bag, and the bag was $50. He pocketed the cash, and then my homie left, and I went to drop off my ex, and he wanted before I left. So I went into the basement, and he went and pulled out 2 chains. I asked him, "Where my money at, fool?" And he said, "I ain't got it." So I took a chain, I put it around his neck, and I asked him again, "Where my at?" He didn't respond. His face turned purple. There was blood coming out of his mouth. So I laid down on the bed and to listen to his heartbeat, and I said, "Damn, this motherfucker is still beating." I went upstairs to grab a kitchen knife. I went back downstairs, took off his pants. I sucked his cut his head off at the same time, because the only SD that I would ever be doing would be sucking. Then I chopped his off and concealed the crime. I used a nearby shower drain to pour out the blood and put in bags and boxes around the basement to store the body parts in, and plastic bags for the organs.
Thank you for joining us as we navigate the disturbing yet compelling story of Shad Thyrion. His life and tragic death serve as stark reminders of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of human relationships. While Taylor Schabusiness faces life in prison for her horrifying actions, we must also remember Shad for the person he was. A son loved dearly, a friend remembered fondly, and a young man whose potential was stolen too soon. As we reflect on this case, let us carry Shad's memory forward, reminding ourselves of the importance of compassion, understanding, and the need to confront violence in our society. Until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant. Thank you.